This might end up being the best game ever released on PlayStation 5. I'm telling you straight up, when this game finally drops, everything is going to blow up. Naughty Dog is choosing not to show anything right now, but that doesn't mean they're idle. The moment we see the first gameplay footage, people are going to lose their minds. Because for years, this team has stood right next to Rockstar at the top of the technical food chain, with very few games ever surpassing what they've done. And now, when you combine a brand new sci-fi world with themes of loneliness and faith, it looks like they're making something that'll make you go, yeah, this is why PlayStation exists. Before we get into details, don't forget to like the video and subscribe because we have a lot to talk about. Let's begin. This is the first time in years that Naughty Dog is coming at us with a brand new IP. And honestly, even though we don't have many details yet, it already looks like this project will reshape PlayStation's future plans. That short teaser we saw at the Game Awards 2024 didn't tell us much about the story or the universe, but it still managed to create a very mysterious aura. Watching bounty hunter Jordan Amun land on the cursed planet Sempiria, you could almost feel that there was a much bigger narrative lurking underneath. Especially that mystical line, "the pain of generations must be endured to reach the sacred outcome," basically tells us right away that this universe is going somewhere dark. It feels like Naughty Dog has opened a brand new door. Up until now, they've been masters of realistic drama, cinematic storytelling, and character-focused narratives. But now, with the sci-fi shift, the themes are expanding. Faith, loneliness, fear of the unknown. Think about it. In almost every Naughty Dog game, we've always had a companion. Joel had Ellie, Nathan had Sully, but here, we're alone. No partner, no guide. The fact that the studio is specifically pointing this out tells me we're being pushed into a much deeper psychological journey. Of course, the biggest question is, how will the gameplay actually work? People are comparing the exploration to something like Elden Ring, meaning the game won't spoon-feed us information. We'll read the world ourselves by examining ruins, understanding the environment, and piecing together the planet's history with our own eyes. The fun part is seeing how Naughty Dog seems to be stacking everything they've learned over the years. The kinetic movement of Uncharted, the emotional weight of The Last of Us, with a sci-fi tone plus freer exploration. When you hear that combination, it's hard not to think this might be their most ambitious project ever. Now here's my personal take. I think we're seriously underestimating this game, and that's only because Naughty Dog hasn't shown anything yet. Just a teaser. A few interviews, that's all. But that's exactly why I'm excited. Historically, whenever Naughty Dog is silent, they're making something insane. When that first gameplay trailer drops, the internet is going to explode. People's jaws will hit the floor. Sure, right now, everyone is cautious and doesn't want to overhype it, but I'm telling you clearly, when this game launches, it's going to shake the entire industry. Everyone has different opinions about The Last of Us. Some love the story, some don't. But on a technical level, Naughty Dog is untouchable. To this day, The Last of Us Part 2 is still referenced as the pinnacle of animation, environmental detail, movement systems, and layered sound design. Are there games that graphically compete? Maybe. But in terms of complete package, no one has really surpassed them. Only Rockstar stands at their level. And now, that same team has been working on a brand new project since 2020. This is not some rushed game. I'm 100% convinced they'll raise the technical bar again. The fact that Jordan Amun is being played by Tati Gabriella is another reason to be excited. She stood out as Nora in The Last of Us Season 2, and now she's the full lead. We all know Naughty Dog picks actors who elevate the entire project. And when you add names like Troy Baker and Kumail Nanjiani to the cast, even without gameplay footage, it's obvious we're getting top-tier cinematic performances. If these people are involved, you can guarantee high-level acting and character writing. The planet Sempiria sits at the center of this narrative. Once connected to the outside world, it cut all ties centuries ago, and anyone who enters never comes back. Figuring out why this deadly place is buried in mystery, what happened there, and what kind of force is killing everyone. That's going to be one of the game's biggest hooks. Neil Druckmann emphasizing loneliness tells me the planet is going to be threatening not just physically, but psychologically. We won't just fight enemies, we'll fight our own mind. Another important detail is that Jordan's mission isn't just to catch a criminal. Colin Graves is a member of the legendary crime group 5’s, who once terrorized Blue Star systems before mysteriously disappearing. I'm sure this storyline is going to get deeper and deeper, with a new mystery behind every corner. The fact that large-scale exploration is being emphasized tells us that player freedom will be a much bigger priority. Naughty Dog has always been the king of linear storytelling, but this time they're promising bigger, more open spaces with more freedom to explore. That's a massive step for them. You can really see Elden Ring's influence here. Discovering the past by exploring the environment is a system that could push this game into a totally new territory for the studio. On the technical side, my expectations are absolutely sky high. Naughty Dog has raised the bar every single time. When The Last of Us Part 2 dropped, people said this will never be topped, and even now, many years later, most games still haven't reached that level. Only a handful of studios have even come close, and now the same team is developing a brand new IP in the middle of the PS5 generation. I'm telling you, once we see that first gameplay footage, the internet will go insane. To be honest, I feel like this game will be Sony's big power move. Xbox has been making noise through acquisitions, but people want to see Sony flex their first-party dominance again. And Intergalactic looks like it could be the exact kind of game that makes someone say, yeah, I'd buy a whole console just for this. The fact that Naughty Dog has worked on a new IP for this long shows how seriously PlayStation is betting on this game. Even the teaser alone said so much about the game's tone. The silence, the darkness of space, just the sound of the engines, and Jordan's loneliness. Everything was crafted perfectly. Naughty Dog isn't aiming for just action or visuals. Here they're diving into atmosphere, spirituality, and psychological tension. This isn't your typical space adventure. It feels more like a journey of confronting your inner darkness, facing the fear of the unknown. Building that darker philosophy into sci-fi could make this story something truly special. Speaking of loneliness, the fact that no one accompanies you completely changes the experience. In every Naughty Dog game, you've had someone with you. Someone to talk to, walk with, someone who shares the story. But here, Jordan is completely alone. No voices, no help. Just you and an alien planet. That makes the story more personal and lets players sink deep into Jordan's mental state. You're going to feel firsthand how cruel the world is and how heavy silence can be. I think that's going to make this experience unforgettable. Even though you're alone, the world itself will be speaking to you constantly. The landscape, the ruins, religious symbols, strange civilizations. Neil Druckmann said he wanted to tell a story about faith and religion, and that alone already tells us a lot. Semperia's religious background and the mystery of why people have suffered so much, there will probably be one of the biggest narrative driving forces. As bounty hunters, we'll be alert for physical threats, but at the same time, we'll be trying to understand what this planet believes in and why that belief is so deadly. And then there's the 5’s. This group is a legendary criminal organization that terrorized Blue Star systems. Even their disappearance is a mystery. What's their connection to Sempiria? Why did they come here? What happened to them? Is Jordan here just for the money, or is there something more personal going on? These questions alone already show how layered the narrative is likely to be. Naughty Dog doesn't write shallow villains, so I expect the 5’s storyline to expand into something much bigger. What's especially interesting is how player exploration seems to drive the entire narrative. Naughty Dog has said this won't be a fully open world, but the environments will be much wider than before, offering more freedom. For a studio known for tight, linear structure, this is a huge evolution. Every corner of Sempiria seems to hold a story, an artifact, a clue, or a threat. Seeing Naughty Dog attempt deeper, freer exploration has me really excited. And the Elden Ring inspiration is important. It doesn't mean the game will be Souls-like, but it tells us environmental storytelling is a priority. There won't always be an NPC explaining everything. Instead, you'll find a temple, study a symbol, maybe discover a corpse. And from that, you'll form the story in your mind. That kind of organic storytelling works incredibly well when a narrative focuses on religion, culture, and history. Naughty Dog also claims this game will have the most complex systems they've ever built. That's huge, because even The Last of Us Part 2 had extremely deep mechanics. Movement, stealth, crafting, combat, everything felt rich. So for them to say they're going beyond that means this thing must have a seriously advanced technical foundation. Maybe more advanced combat systems, deeper progression, RPG elements, or more environmental interaction. Any of these alone could make Intergalactic stand out. My personal expectations are massive. Naughty Dog has set the industry standard every time. Many studios still try and fail to reach the technical level of The Last of Us Part 2. Its facial animations, natural movement, environmental design, AI behavior, all still unmatched. So when you tell me that this same studio has been working on a new IP since 2020, of course expectations go through the roof. Because Naughty Dog doesn't repeat itself, they evolve. One of the most exciting parts is how this game could shift the Sony-Xbox rivalry. Xbox has been making big moves with acquisitions, sure, but Sony always won people over with these incredible first-party cinematic blockbusters. Intergalactic seems like one of those projects. I'm calling it now. When this releases, Sony will re-establish its dominance and remind everyone why PlayStation leads the industry. The day we get the first gameplay trailer, people will feel it immediately. Semperia's religious, symbol-rich past merging with Jordan's personal motivations will probably deliver the emotional peak of the game. Naughty Dog is great at this. They take giant narratives and mix in tiny human moments. A photo inside a helmet, a scribbled message on a wall, the remains of a ritual. All of it echoes inside Jordan's mind, shifting the question from what happened to what was the cost. As for the 5’s, I expect them to be more than simple villains. Maybe Colin Graves did terrible things, but perhaps he was driven by the same hopelessness that cursed Sempiria. Naughty Dog loves morally gray stories. So instead of asking who's right and who's wrong, by the end, we'll probably be asking who lost the least. The depth of the gameplay isn't just about more systems, it's about meaningful systems. Even something as simple as opening a door could take on new meaning based on the danger and history surrounding it. Crafting, exploration, combat, stealth, they'll all serve one purpose: understanding Sempiria. And that understanding will be different for every player. Someone rushing may reach one version of the truth. Someone who explores everything may reach another. There might not even be a single real answer. On the technical front, I think we're going to see a new standard in facial animation and performance capture. Lighting and materials will look cinematic and real. Enemy AI will react more naturally. Physical interactions will feel lifelike. And when we finally see the first gameplay, what will impress us most won't be just the graphics, but how everything blends together. That's Naughty Dog's signature, merging technology and emotion into a single shot. So to wrap everything up, Intergalactic isn't just another game. It's Naughty Dog reminding the world who they are. Jordan's isolation, the mystery of Sempiria, the backstory of the 5’s, all of it points toward a deeply emotional, gameplay-driven experience. Personally, I think when we finally see gameplay, the internet will absolutely break and Sony will slam their fist on the table again. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.